Thank you for staying with us. You're watching Today with John and Helen, and we've had a very interesting conversation.
Indeed.
You know, on how to raise our children with our last guest, Excel. And our next guest is Biodun Odunukwe. She is a parent-teen coach, certified family engagement, and in education trainer. Yeah? And an author of the book, The Redefined Parent. Thank you for joining us, madam.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and I've been eyeing your afro since you walked in.
Thank you.
The name is Odunukwe.
Odunukwe.
Odunukwe. You pronounce it like an Oyigbo guy.
I flunked it.
Odunukwe.
But you tried. It's okay. It's okay.
Odunukwe.
Okay.
All right. So I'll kickstart this segment. All right. So when we do start educating our children about sex, or when should we start educating our children about sex and their sexuality, and in what form, in what manner?
Thank you very much. It's a question that many parents would actually like to know about. We should start educating our children about sex and sexuality as early as possible, if it is possible from birth. What I mean is that, you know, by the time we give birth to them, we communicate. As soon as we are able to start communicating with the children in whatever way. And you might be wondering that, how do you communicate sex with a baby? Of course, you know, as the baby, children grow from stage to stage. And that as they grow, there comes a time when you use music to attract them, you sing for them and all of that. There are sex education songs that, you know, music, different kind of music for the children at different stages that they'll get used to. So by the time they are like age 2 or age 2.5, they are getting used to the sound, they are getting used to the lyrics, and, you know, you start teaching them how to speak, how to read, you know, how to listen to music and all of that. Then you begin to put it in gradually. You know, and from there, they start knowing their body parts. They know that this part of the body is the private part, this part of the body is the public part, and they must know the names, the correct names, especially when it has to do with the vagina and the penis. You can see that when I'm saying vagina, I'm not feeling anyhow saying it's vagina. But you know, for many parents, they can't call it because of the culture or because of our own upbringing. So we are like, I mean, how do I call?
Because it's as real as your nose, and as simple as your nose and your ear and your eyes. I mean.
Exactly. But they call different names. I mean, they give it different names. And that is in itself a problem.
Maybe my own school is a little older. No, actually, Helen is of the older school. Now, you know, as we progress on the level of education and knowledge, the language gets a little more toxic, in quotes. Would it be a double-edged sword, kind of, when you now start opening your child's eyes to sex and sexuality? Well, when you start telling them about vagina, for instance, won't you be prodding them?
It depends on what you're talking to them about.
Exactly. And to start with, does vagina have another name apart from vagina? If I may ask. It doesn't have another name. And it is a part of the body. So because it is a part of the body, the child needs to know, just like Helen said, it's like you're saying, this is my nose.
But won't you get them inquisitive unnecessarily?
Gradually, as they progress, we now need to be telling them the functions of each part of the body.
Okay.
So they need to know what each part of the body is meant for, and you know, so
and how it can be abused.
It can be abused and not abused. So that's why I said it's in different stages. As they grow from stage to stage, you know, we broaden their knowledge. It's just like they're moving from elementary stage to secondary stage. And all of that.
All right, there seems to be an awareness on protecting children from sexual or protecting sexual predators. There are so many predators around. What about the conversation on their own natural desires as human beings as they grow, and how to explore, you know, with one another? The trending issue now is a girl and about 5 or 4 boys. And that relationship or that thing that we saw didn't just happen that day. It must have evolved. They're schoolmates, and they've had situations where they talked about a couple of things. Now, so how do we, how do we hit the nail on the head on the fact that these children are also human beings who have desires? How do we get...
Now, education is not just academics. Education is broad. And the saying that charity begins from the home, it can never change. Charity can never begin from the school. So the home is still the rightful place where certain education must be given to the child. So when parents ensure that they give their children the right education, informal most of the times, then it becomes easier for the school to follow up. Because as a child is growing, it is important for parents to learn about the characteristics of a child, to know, okay, at so age, these are the things I'm expecting from my child. These are the kind of behavior, these are the kind of things my child should feel. So before the child gets to that stage, we must learn about it. And we must have learned about it, then begin to discuss it with them. It is not when a child gets to the stage of puberty that you are telling, you're talking to the child about puberty. No. Nowadays we have children that start their menstruation, girls, at the age of 8. It is not impossible for us to have a girl menstruating at the age of 7. It is not impossible. So because we know, even if that is not happening to your own child, but you need to prepare the child's mind. By the time and all this thing has to do with the rapport you have created with your child. The rapport is very, very important. Yeah. The bonding. So all this must have been, done. The right environment has to. We must have had the right environment, so it becomes easier. So it's just like moving from one state to the other. Yeah. So that when the child even gets to school and experiences something, the child will be free to tell you because the child has heard something from mommy or daddy at home.
Something funny just crossed my mind. When you go to a new environment and you want to learn the language, you start. They say that it's easier to learn a language through knowing the abusive words and all of that. Well, I don't know if that is true, but now our children, let's relate it to what we're talking about. Our children learn about sex and sexuality even more on the playgrounds, in corners, with among their
where
peers,
we don't expect.
Where we don't expect, because that what you just talked about, that's the formal, decent education that you'll get from home. But the one that will really be interesting is the one that they whisper to each other on playgrounds and all of that. And most of the time they can't share this knowledge with mommy.
How do we deal with it?
Home. How do we deal with it?
Well, maybe on the majority, they may not be able to share, but there are certain parents that have ensured that they do the proper thing by discussing these things with their children. So it becomes easier for those children to come back home and
still table it.
And table it before their parents.
In one way or the other.
And that is where building rapport with the child is very key. It comes back to the home. Yeah. And by the time we also say that our children start growing and start maturing, we need to be observant. Observe the kind of programs they watch, or maybe sometimes when you are watching a program together and maybe you may not know, but maybe there are some parts that they now show some sexual moves or whatever, and the child,
is uncomfortable.
Acts in a way. Of course, you can even throw it open to the child that, okay, why did you do like that? The child is not expecting it. It is not all the time you have to sit down the child.
Formal conversation.
No. You could just be watching a movie. You could just be watching maybe a cartoon that the child is watching, and something comes up. Use that opportunity, to raise it. So by the time you are doing that, the child gets freer with you as a parent. It doesn't have to be in a formal setting.
All right. I wish we had a special show where we'll talk about this freer thing, because there's a school of thought that is like, is it better to be your child's friend or to be a parent to a child? That these two really, you can't join them. But that's not the case for today. There's a difference between sex and sexuality? Is there a difference? And if it is, what is it? How do you perceive it?
Okay, now, when we talk about sex, I will be narrowing it down to sexual intercourse, because that is what comes to mind when people say sex. Or, I mean, children, you're scared to talk to them about sex. Okay. It's the sexual intercourse aspect. That is what, and you know, talking about sexual intercourse, we need to let our children understand that sexual intercourse is what, I mean, is an interplay of our sexual organs, you know, with one another, and it is meant for pleasure or procreation by those who have agreed or have matured enough to enter into a marital agreement. Okay. We need to make it complete, because you can see that in that explanation I mentioned pleasure, and different people would want to have pleasure. So you have to now start defining what kind of pleasure. So that's what we have to table it down. So we won't just stop at that, but we have already said it has to be with matured people who have agreed to enter into, you know, so that the child is also guided by that. Yeah. At all times. Then when you talk about sexuality, sexuality is broader. It is all encompassing. You know, it talks about your everything about you, your sexual makeup, I mean, what you need to know about yourself, what you need to know about your body, what you need to know about your emotions. So it is all encompassing. So it is broader. Sex is an act. Yeah. So, but sexuality is a broader perspective.
Is a broader perspective.
Yes.
Now, this issue of the topic that we have today, you know, drives us into so many angles. Yeah. I'm just kind of imagining that some of our viewers who are watching now are still saying, no.
You can't talk to them.
We can't talk about sex. Because, you see, culture and religion plays a major role in how we, you know, groom our children. Would you want to walk us through this?
That's very correct. While we were growing up, my mommy never talked to me about sex education. I won't blame her, because that is what she knows. You know what I mean? The first time I saw my period, I couldn't even show my mom. I came back from school that day. I think I was in secondary school, and my pants got stained. The first person I was able to show was my neighbor, my mommy's friend, my neighbor. She was the one that helped me to, you know. So many of us grew up because we were not told. We were not. What they only told us then was that
if a man touches you,
and you know, when you say touch, it means so if I could go and touch you there, like, you know. And I could remember that in school I was like, you know, I didn't want to sit with boys and all those kind. I can still remember, but things have changed. We are talking about digital age. We are talking about children who have started operating the computer from our wombs. You know, so if we are in an information age, it means that even though we were not given birth to in the information age, it is a duty on us. We have the responsibility of increasing our information. True. We have the opportunity of learning so that we can also know how to begin to communicate with them. Yeah. So sex is not something that it is because we don't want to talk about it. That is why we have a lot of issues about sexual immorality, because people are hiding. So if your parent is not talking, then the child goes outside to learn from friends.
Okay, we know for a fact right now that because of the economic situation and because of a lot of things in this age and this century, that presence of mind, you know, the presence of a father and a mother, having sufficient time, quality time to talk about all kinds of things that are beneficial for the development of a child, you know, it's almost absent. For a few homes, it's still happening. And then there's the disagreement that is more because of so many societal challenges. So the parents who are unable, and they shouldn't be, but there are some parents who can't really, either they don't know or they don't have the time. Is it right for them to seek counseling? Is there someone else out there, like a professional, that can help with this kind of information?
Yeah, we have 10 seconds for that.
There are several professionals, countless, but people don't take these things as priorities, and that is why they ignore it. You know, so a lot of professionals are out there, and parents should be willing to learn and unlearn what they already know, so that the professionals can also help them. We have parent coaches, we have counselors, we have relationship experts, parent-child relationship experts, and all of that. So parents should seek counsel. The way they want to study more so that they can get promotion in their offices, they should also look for how people will help them so that they can have a better relationship with their children.
Excel said that it begins with how informed that the parents are. Before we tell you thank you and finally say bye on this segment, can you just like a word to somebody who is just joining this show now, talk about this issue, like some key things that we should look out for and how to deal with them, like very quickly?
All right, I would say that make parenting a priority. It is very, very important, irrespective of the fact that the society is the way it is right now. We need to make parenting a priority. When you make parenting a priority, then create the time. Quality time doesn't have to do with the amount. You can be with a child for
2 hours.
2 hours and you've not achieved anything. Yeah. But even if it is 30 minutes, let your child know that there is this time that you spend, with him or her, so that you use that opportunity to bond,
so we will
and to learn more things.
We will take that away with us. We have to prioritize parenting.
And I'm so glad that she said him or her, because there's a lot of emphasis now
on the women,
on the girl, yes. On the women.
It's on both sides.
And the emphasis now is for us to say thank you to our guests, because we have to leave now.
All right, thank you,
sister.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, so a quick run to the gym, and after that, Farah Shonuga will be talking about aligning with your purpose. And that's also keying into the topic for today, knowing who you are and where you're headed. So stay with us.
Hello everyone and welcome to the fitness section of today's show. Today we have a heavy cardio workout for you. As always, my name is Dolly Phillips and this is Elvis. Yes, Elvis in the house. Okay, so sometimes I'm going to go with a slower version. So if you want to do it a little bit slower, follow me. And if you want to go advance the whole way, go with Elvis. All right, so we're going to start with a quick warm-up. Let's go. Deep breath in and out, in and out, in through the nose, out through the mouth. One more, in and out. All right, everyone, hands on your shoulders. Rotate backwards. 4, 3, 2, 1, and forward. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's tackle those arms back. 3, 2, 1, and forward. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now bring those knees to the chest. Nice and easy. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. Clasp hands together, turn over and push. Stretch those shoulders. Now we're going to lift it up slowly to the ceiling. Grow. Lift your heels off the floor. Very good. Nice balance. And down slowly now. Lower those hands. Send your hands down to the floor. Make sure your feet are facing forward. Very good. Bend your knees and slowly roll up. And we're ready. Okay, so our cardio time starts now. Let's go. We're going to go with the scissors and we push. So make sure your legs are going one in front of the other. 2, 1, and rest it. Woo! Beautiful. Next one, burpees. I'm going to go with the easy version. No jumping for me. We're going down first. Let's go. 1. And up. Down. And up. Good. Excellent. One more. And rest it. We're going to start all over again. From the beginning. Are we ready? Hands on your shoulders. Let's go. Come on. Push. We're working this morning. There's no time. It's a new month and we have to be fit this February. So that's it. Almost there. And rest it. Good job. What's the next one? One knee one kick. We're starting with the left leg. Let's go now. Knee, kick. Elvis is jumping. Stay with him. If you can't jump, stay with me. Hey, hey, 2, 1, and rest it. All right, so we're going to do a bonus workout. Now, find somebody at home to work with, and let's go. Hand to hand, sit back down in a squat, and hold it. Pull the person, let the person pull you. Nobody's overpowering anyone. You need to balance your body weight. Woo! This is work. Can you feel it? How you can't feel anything, Jerry? Hold it. Those legs are burning. Woo! 3, 2, 1. Now, last one, back to back. And you sit down in that squat. Are we ready? Let's go. Push into your opponent. Let them push into you. Balance your body weight. Elvis, push now. Those legs are dying, that's why. Are you falling down? 3, 2, 1, and up. Oh, wow. That was an excellent workout. So now, let's do a quick stretch, and we're done. In, and out. In, and out. 2 more, and out. 1 more, and out. Quad stretch. Find your balance, you can do it. And down. Other side. It's always good to stretch those muscles after working out. Your stretch is just as important as the workout itself. So never run away from a stretch. And down. Glute stretch. Find balance right here. And hold. Now once you have your balance, reach for the floor. Very good. Keep your focus. Squeeze those abs and slowly come up. Lovely. 1 more, other leg. Find your balance here. And reach for the floor. If you're shaking about, it's fine. Don't worry. All join. And up. Good. Hands behind your back. Open up the chest, look to the ceiling. And release. 2 shoulder rolls back. And forward. And we're done. Until the next time. Bye-bye.